Are we live? Here we go. Looks like YouTube is coming up, which is good. Plug my headphones into the right place, maybe. Might be a good idea. All right, here we go. YouTube is happy. Awesome. Okay. Let's get that guy down. Awesome. Cool. So today we are working on our 2D physics game that we've been working on for a little over a week. Trying to get a little bit more done. Let me fire it up and see where we're at. We have a lot left to do, but we've gotten a lot done, which is kind of exciting. We've gotten a lot done. It's been about, I want to say 8 days, 7 days. We have 6 days left to hit our 2-week goal. I think we can do it. We've made surprising progress. So here it is on screen. You can make wheels, obviously. Here we go. Right there, you can toss things around. You can pick up your box. You can toss your box around. You can make sticks. Turn the animation off. We can set some things to be static in the environment. We have pistons. We have engines. We have springs. So the springs kind of wobble back and forth. They're stretchy. Engines move back and forth inside of their little area. Let me see if I can grab it. Grab it. Yeah, there we go. So it grabs whatever it wants. The piston you can see up there just goes back and forth. Lots of different stuff. We have balloons, which look like crap right now, but they float, which is pretty great. And they float and they collide, which is fun. And then we have wheels. And wheels just look like that. They look like wheels. So we've done all kinds of stuff, and we can attach things to things. We can make kind of ridiculous contraptions and do all kinds of fun stuff. But today we need to take it a little bit further. Today I want to work on a new interface first of all, I think. Let me see if YouTube... Sounds like the audio just cut out. Did the audio cut out? Yes, we're already buffering. Great job, YouTube. Great job. Although it thinks my health is good, so maybe it's okay and it's lying to me. Not entirely sure. Yeah, that's okay. So I don't know what happens if it says it's buffering. I don't know. Anyway, but it's up. YouTube's up, apparently. Live coding seems to be up, I'm guessing. And let's get started on the work. So what I want to do, let me clear the screen. What I want to do is, we have buttons for each of our items right now. So I can make a piston by dragging. I can make a spring by dragging. I can make a balloon by clicking. That's all well and good. But what I want to do, instead of these having be buttons, I want it to be like a tool drawer off to the right, where you can actually see each one of these items sitting there, and then you just drag it out and you just drag it to wherever you want on screen. And the other thing that I actually honestly don't know if it works or not. Let's try. Let's turn this. Oops. No, this is the one I wanted. So if I move this here and I pick up this guy, can I pick him up on the bottom? There we go. If I pick him up, if I line him up, is he going to snap together? They don't snap. They only snap if I grab the actual end point, and then they snap. Okay. That's good to know. So what I think we want to do is... Oh, that's cute. Stretch. What I want to do is I want to make a sidebar that basically has one of everything. That's a spring. That's not the right graphic for a spring. These aren't the final graphics for any of it, by the way. They're just placeholder graphics. So those are all of our points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different items. So I want to show those in the sidebar, and then for the user to add a piston, instead of dragging and creating a piston like that, they pull it out of the sidebar and snap it on wherever they want to snap it on and stretch it out wherever they want to stretch it out. That's what I want to do, I think. I want to try that out. So the nice thing about having the user drag to create the thing is that we can set the length here, and then after they set the length, if I move it, oops, sorry, I did not select the thing. If I move it, it moves it with a static length, right? But if I have a stick here in the sidebar and I move it onto the screen from the sidebar and I want to make it longer, if I drag the endpoint, I could do that to make it longer. That would probably be an okay interaction. And then you drag the middle of the piece to keep the same length and reposition it. That means rotating. Right now, to rotate an object, you can just grab an endpoint and rotate it, and it stays the same length. You wouldn't be able to do that. You wouldn't be able to do that if we use the endpoint to extend it as well, right? Like you couldn't guarantee you had the same length. That's probably okay. I think that's going to be an okay interaction. Yeah. Let's try it. Let's go ahead and make a sidebar. We'll have all of our user interface elements here on the sidebar. We'll have a play pause button instead of the animation on off button. We will have a delete trash can button, and then we'll have all of our items in the sidebar, and then the move will just be our only gesture. That's the only thing you can do, is move stuff, right? Bonk. Yeah, let's do that. I think that's fine. Let's try that and see where we go. So if we're going to do that, we have our physics view. We could do, right now everything is rendered in the draw rect of this view, which is probably fine. Right now I think it's an opaque view, is it? I don't know. I might not have actually set that. So I'm thinking I could make it clear and then have the interface elements below this. Let's do that. Yeah. Because the other thing I want to do, we probably won't do today, is I want a background, right? So that way you have dirt or whatever back here. But we'll do that later. Let's go ahead and just make this sidebar. So that means you're a clear color. Self opaque. No, you're not opaque. We're also going to go to the draw rect. I think right now at the beginning of the frame, I'm drawing everything at the beginning of the frame. Come on, CPU. You can do it. There we go. Yeah, I just fill everything. And what I want to do is I want to erase everything. And I always forget the code for that. And so we're going to look it up. I think. Blend mode. CG context set blend mode. That is what I want right there. You just wrap it in this guy. Thank you, code. Bam, bam. There we go. So now we set it to blend mode clear. We fill the entire screen, which is erases everything, and we set it back to blend mode normal, so we can draw stuff. So now we should see nothing change. So how do we tell if it changes or not? So our physics view is created inside of probably our physics controller. Yep. So if we set this self view, set him to red. So now it's red behind our physics game. So if we see red, we know that we've cleared everything, which is what we want. And we do. Holy smokes, that's ugly. Okay, let's turn that off. But that's good. So now we can go and we can create our sidebar background. Sidebar background. It's going to be a UI view. Great. This guy's going to be pretty simple. I just want to separate it out as a view so I don't have to do everything as images. This is just going to be a nice, come on. Can't even talk straight, think straight. It's just going to be a really simple, like bordered view that we're going to put off onto the side. Nope. No, actually we want to, let's go ahead and set up our mask here. So let's make a path. I want a curved path. All right, curve. Arc and center, and then our center point and our radius and our angle. Angle we know is going to go from 0 to 2 times m pi because I'm going to make a circle. Doesn't matter if it's clockwise or not. Our radius, we're going to make our radius say 1,000. And that means our center point is going to be, we want a sidebar width of about 150. So if we make it 850 points away. Does that make sense? I don't think it does. I think we, yeah, that's fine. It might not actually matter because we're going to put this into a CA shape layer and then add the layer. So we could just reposition the layer. It doesn't really matter what our point is there because we can just move it to somewhere else. Doesn't matter. Okay, CA shape layer. Background equals CA shape layer. Awesome. And then the background dot path, CG path, background dot fill color. This we're going to make red just to prove to ourselves that we can do it. We're also going to give ourselves a border color. This is going to be just, oops, not green. That would be horrible. I mean, it's not like we're making this thing beautiful anyway. Border width, we'll make it a width of 2. And then self.layer, add sublayer, background. Thank you very much. And this is the guy that we actually care about. So I think we can make this start at 0 because we're going to position it anyway. Yeah, I think that's fine. So we actually want to position it 1,000 minus frame.size.width. And our position is also going to be, I think that. Honestly, I always get confused because so OpenGL has 0, 0 in the bottom left. Core Graphics has 0, 0 in the top left. UI Views set their frame from the top left is their kind of point that they rotate around, I believe. Maybe not. And then layers you position from the center. Might have that backwards. Anyway, it's always get everything mixed up. How are we doing? Okay, so there's our black background, but that's not what I expected. Background color think I need that. Possibly. And let's just set our position at 0 and see how we do. Right? Nothing, still. What am I doing wrong? See, 0.0, height over 2, radius of 100 instead of 1,000, just to make life a little bit simpler. Fill mode, rule, we don't care about any of that stuff because those defaults are fine. Background color, border width. Oh. Well, one of the reasons is that I don't actually build one. That would be important. Right? So we're going to default to, I hate how it does that sometimes. It doesn't autocomplete UI color for some reason, and I just do not understand what the deal is. Init with frame, here we go, that's what I want. Right, make, and we're gonna go to self, view, bounds, size, width, minus 150 to 0 to 150 to self view bound size height. So we're putting it on the right hand side, right? Right hand side of the screen. And we'll set our auto resizing mask to have a flexible left margin. And we do not want a flexible width, right? Yeah, cool. Great. We don't actually support more than one orientation anyway, so it's not like it's ever going to change. But anyway, that's what we're doing. View, add subview. Let's actually add it to our screen so we can see where it lands. No, Denver Cowboy. I'm not still at Starbucks. I'm being very responsible and spending my own bandwidth instead. I am surprised it worked. I streamed at Starbucks just a little bit today, and I am surprised. I'm surprised we got as much done there as we could. Oh my goodness. So now we need to not have the center be at 0, 0. We want point make. I think we wanted it 900, 0. Let's see what that does, right? Let's move it off to the right. There we go. That's a little bit better. We can make a little bit wider, maybe. CD float radius 1500. There we go. And then we can do radius minus frame size width. Yeah, that's a little bit better. It's a little bit better arc than we had before. Let's not make it a disgusting red color. Light gray, that's fine. Let's make it even wider, 2500. I just want a very faint curve there. That's fine. And we're actually going to offset it upwards a little bit, just to give it a little bit of character, I think. So that way it doesn't look perfectly centered. Is that better? I don't know. I can't decide. I think it might just end up looking like crap. Let's also, I think one of my goals is this this sidebar. Once we have the graphics day where we import proper graphics, I want to give that a real life proper texture on the back. We are not getting a border at all, actually. Are we? I don't think we're getting a border. No, we're not getting a border because it's not a border color. We want stroke color and stroke width. Line width. There we go. There we go. Yeah, I want to give it a proper texture because we're building stuff with like. There we go. We're building stuff with wood and metal and whatever, so I want this to have kind of a garage feel on the right. But I haven't found enough textures yet for us to move and to use. But anyway, that's fine. That at least gives us, that at least lets us know. I actually don't want this. I like it centered better. And I want even more subtle curve. I don't want it so dramatic. Yeah, that's better. Just a little bit of curve. That's fine. Okay. So now what we want to do is we want to get rid of all these buttons. We want to get rid of the clear button. Let's get the clear button. Let's find trash icon. I think we can find a nice looking trash icon. That's a reasonably looking trash icon right there. Perfect. When we do the full-on graphics, I will find a better icon for us that we can actually license properly. But for now, that's fine. So there's our trash icon, which means where's our clear button? Did we define the clear button inside of the physics view? We probably did. Yeah, we did. That's fine. Clear button, set image. There we go. UI image, image named. We'll get our trash icon in there. There we go. Kill our title. Size to fit around the icon. And I think that should show us an icon, shouldn't it? It should. It's even a beautiful, beautiful blue color. Look at us. Let's have our icon be not quite so enormous. We will make it smaller. Let's just half the size. That's better. Let's do 48. What if we did that? That's fine. I like that. Cool. Here we go. Now we have a trash icon. Now we need a play and a pause icon. There we go. Looks pretty good. View image. There we go. And now we'll actually need to pull this into Photoshop. We're going to chop this one up a little bit. And our on-off button is going to be different. This guy is not a... We don't need the label because we're going to use a button instead. So let's pull him down here. Animation on-off switch. This is going to be a UI button. All right. Selected. This is a UI button. I think we want the same type of button. We want an image. This is going to be play.png for normal, and for UI control state selected, we're going to have a pause button. I might have those backwards, but that's fine. And then our center is going to be bounds width minus, I don't know, 280? No, 180? 180? Let's do that. Yes, that's what we're going to do. Okay. Here's our pause button. Thank you. Here's our play button. Do you fit inside the same square? You do not. That means the pause button fits inside the play square. Awesome. Save. Don't save. Background. Play. Let's give you a buffer just a little bit. So 240 by 240. No. 240 by 260 gives us a little bit of buffer around the play button, which is fine. Now we're going to scale everything to be size 62. 64 by 70. 65 by 70. That's enormous. That's still enormous. 48. Great. So here is our play button. Nope. Export please. Yep, play.png. Awesome. And now here is pause.png. Pause. Awesome. Go. Here we go. These aren't the best in the world. There's a little bit of blur on them, but I think that's okay. It's certainly okay for now. So if it's selected, so what I think we want to do is, if the button is showing the pause icon, then that means the animation is playing because you click on pause to pause, right? Is there a way, do we have any kind of QuickTime on here? I want to make sure I'm not crazy. There's probably not a movie in here. Nope. Okay, let me look real quick. What happens when you play a movie? What does QuickTime 2 on the phone? Does it show the play button while it's playing, or does it show the pause button while it's playing? It shows the pause button while it's playing, right? Yeah, it shows the pause button while it's playing and the play button while it's paused. Okay, that's what we're going to do. We will do the same thing. So there we go. So now we have this guy, and then if it is selected, so if it's selected, then it's showing the pause button, which means it's playing, which is good. So selected, selected. Awesome. So now we go to toggle animation, right? And then here in toggle animation, we take our button, and our button's selected state just toggles, right? So now we should have a play pause button that doesn't show up anywhere because I add it before it exists. Now let's try it. Now we should have a play pause button. I think that's it up there. Center. I never do size to fit. That's a problem. We want to put it over here next to the clear button for now. So that's interesting to me that it reverses it. So I think that's an option. So image, I think it's adjusts image when highlighted. Is that what we want? No, that's not what we want. Is there a setting for that, or do I need to? Background. Is it the title shadow? What if I make it, instead of a rounded rect, if I do type custom? Does that change anything? With iOS 8 or 7, all the button types got backwards. Yeah. So that did what we want. It's now black instead of blue, but whatever. Whatever. Cool. Okay, so we have, let's start it paused, right? Is that what that's going to do? Yep, so now it started paused. So you hit play and the animation starts. Pretty good. And you can clear, let's move these up 80 and 80, and let's move our segmented control down for the moment. And then we're going to get rid of the segmented control altogether. There we go. And now the next thing we want to do is, I think the way we want to build the sidebar is if the user drags something from the outside into the sidebar, it disappears. If you drag it from the sidebar into the view, that's interesting. If I drag it fast enough, it warps. Huh. That's really amusing. If I drag it from the sidebar into the view, then I can actually snap it onto stuff, right? So here we'll have a stick, here we'll have a piston, here we'll have a spring and an engine and a balloon and a wheel. And then the user can just drag the piston out into the scene and connect it up with stuff. All right, sound good? I like it. And then maybe later on we'll have, like right here, you can select and it shows our one property, but this will eventually be more properties. This can show in the sidebar if they select something or deselect something. That's fine. So that means the rest of the sidebar needs to look like that, right? So let's get rid of our segmented control. Oh, before we do, what does it start out selected on? It doesn't really matter actually, but it starts out on that. We want it to start on a move, but who cares? There we go. Now our segmented control is gone. Grab point gesture is the only guy we care about. All of the other gestures we can get rid of. Oh wait, before we do this, let's commit. Very basic, ugly sidebar. Awesome. Here we go. If you want to download the code, you can. It is right there. It should also be in the description. Okay, now we kill the segmented control, and we're going to kill all these gestures, except for the grab gesture. display link. Yep. Let's go ahead and get rid of them for real and not just leave commented code laying around. Grab point gesture. Yep. Okay, that's going to give us some compile issues. Make stick gesture. There we go. Grab point gesture is always enabled. Mode change, we don't even need that guy. Okay. So now when we start it up, there's no more segmented control. We have a play, pause, and a trash, and we can move stuff around by default. Awesome. Okay, so next, oops, come on, shake. Next, we need to add this stuff here in the sidebar, all the default objects, right? So let's add those. We're going to create an NS mutable array of default objects. Oops. Now here we initialize default objects in the sidebar. What we're going to do is right now when the grab gesture grabs something, we let it actually manipulate that object. Instead, when we grab, we're also going to check if it's one of the default objects in the sidebar, and if it is, then we're going to clone that default object in the sidebar, and then they're going to drag around that clone instead of dragging around the actual sidebar object. So the sidebar objects are just going to stay there forever, and nothing will ever happen to them, and then they can pick up and move something else, right? Sounds good to me. So we have stick. Oops, we want stick with P0. Point with X. Our X is going to be CD float sidebar left. There we go. That way I just don't have to type that whole formula every time. And the Y is going to be, let's start at 200, I think. And then we will end at sidebar right. Oops. Point with X, sidebar right, and like 240. Right? Object. Thank you. Awesome. Okay. And what else? What else do we want? We don't want it to. We don't want to put the stick or the points inside of our points and sticks array, because otherwise our physics engine is actually going to start manipulating them and letting us connect to them and all that kind of stuff. We just want them visually on screen. We do not want them to actually be where they need to be. So let's go to our draw rect, and here we're going to render sidebar objects. So they're going to be rendered at the very, very base level. They're going to be rendered below everything, basically, right? All right, I think that's what we want. Is a balloon, is that still a point object? No, it's its own object. That's fine. It has a render method, that's all that matters. Okie doke. So there's our stick. Let's make another one. We'll make the piston. Piston with P0. Right? And your Y is going to be 240 to 280. Let's see what it looks like. Let's see if this actually does anything remotely similar to what I think it should do. It does. Look, we have stuff. Stuff and things are showing up. Awesome. So we need to get it farther away from the right edge of the sidebar. And it looks like we need to go much farther away from... There we go. It's a little bit more centered-ish to 30. And this guy will be much farther away. 300, so 100, and then 340. Can we do that? There we go. That's okay. All right, let's do the next one. So after a piston, we want what, like maybe an engine? And we want a spring. We want a balloon and a wheel. There's our wheel, there's our engine, piston. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so we just need the piston, or sorry, we just need the balloon and the balloon CG point make. So this is going to be 300. This is 4 and 5, 4 and 5. So that means you are at 600 and 240. And then we need what, the wheel? You're going to be at, say, like 680 and 4. Sorry, I did that wrong. 600. We want 600 there, and we want sidebar left plus, I don't know, 40. And this will be 640. And radius, when we create a wheel, what did we say our radius was? K wheel radius. Appropriately named. Okay. Oh, really? Okay. There we go. There we go. That feels right. Now, does our sidebar look even remotely what we want it to be? A little bit. Our wheel is not in a good place, so let's move our wheel 100 over and a little bit further down as well. Yeah, Objective-C is pretty ugly. I'm not gonna lie. Cool. So is our interface, but it's coming along. To be honest, I'm actually pretty happy with it. We're gonna update the graphics soon. You can go to the website and vote on what you want the graphics to look like, and we will use whatever people vote the most. But this is pretty good. There's our physics. We can draw this guy. We can drag him around. We can drag these people out. I like it. We really could put all of that. We'll worry about it later when we do the graphics update. We might change the sidebar to, instead of being just a background on our view, with these things being rendered inside of the physics engine every single time, We might pull these objects out because these are really counting against our part count. Because the more parts we have in our physics view, the slower our system is going to run. And since we're rendering these every single frame, that we're rendering the sidebar every single frame, that sucks. So we'll probably pull this out later, but it's okay for now. Let's now look at our gesture after we commit. Parts show and sidebar. Great. How are we doing? Great. So points are in our sidebar, which is good. We want to look at, what do we want to look at? We want to look at our gestures. We have lots of gestures being called, and this is the one we care about the most. So here, this is the part that matters right there. We look to see if we're near a point, and if we're not, then we look to see if we're near some sort of object. Sticks. When we add a balloon, do we add it to the sticks array? No, we don't. Does that mean we can't grab balloons? I think that means we can't grab balloons. And I just never noticed. Let's try. We can totally not grab, well, I can't test because we don't have our thing. Pretty sure we can't grab balloons. That's fine. Okay, so let's go to this guy. We want get point, we want get stick. Here we want get sidebar object, right? So this is default objects. And we have distance from point. Balloons do not have that method, but sticks do. Do wheels have that object? Since you implement sticks, you do. It's probably wrong. Yeah, it is wrong. That's fine. So in balloon, let's go ahead and make one here. Distance from point. And this is going to return center object distance from point, right? Because our balloon is just a point in space surrounded by a halo, basically. And since we have a radius, do we want to? Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine. I didn't know if we wanted to be able to click, like with the stick, you can click, I think, just outside of the stick, but maybe not. Now the wheel, we also want to fix this guy. So we have lots of spokes and crossbars. Min super distance from point. And say like spoke 1 distance from point. So honestly, the wheel distance we can do center distance from point, right? minus our radius. There we go. That's going to return 0 if they click inside of the wheel, or it's going to return the distance outside from the point. That's what we want, really. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's fine. I think that's fine. Okey-doke. So now this guy, get sidebar object, all those guys implement this method, which means we can now fetch one. So get sidebar object, we can ask for move to point. This is we're going to call it a stick, even though it might not be. There we go. Let's see. And we're just going to log it to the console what we think we grabbed. Right? Does that do anything? No. Why not? It doesn't show because I had my console hidden like an idiot. Great. Wild success. Grab the engine, grab the stick, grab the wheel. Okay, cool. Cool. Okay. Now if stick is kind of class balloon, because the balloon right now is the special case. Actually, you know what? We're not going to make this special case. We're going to have a stick equals stick clone. We're just going to make a copy of it. Clone object, because that sounds better. So balloon is going to have a clone object command. This guy is going to be balloon. There we go. Return. You just return that straight away, can't we? Yes, we can. Now we're going to do the same thing here. Stick clone. And to clone a stick, we need to clone the 2 points. Right? Point with CG point. P0.as a CG point. That feels good. point with CG P1 as CG point. Okay, so that makes a stick, which is what we want. Now we need to do the same thing for a spring. Awesome. There we go. The same thing for a piston. Okay. Oops. And then do the same thing for an engine, and then I think, oh, and then the wheel. Yep. Oops, and engine. And then we are so close to being finished. Being able to drag stuff out of our sidebar, which is honestly a lot easier than I thought it would be. Pretty great. Point center.cg point. Oops. As CG point. Thank you. And radius. Okay, that's great, right? Are we done? Sticks have a clone object. I just made it. Except I named it wrong, like an idiot. Clone object. Cool. So that's done. Points. Did I rename this one wrong too? Oh, points don't have a clone. Balloons do. Balloons are correct. Everybody else is correct. Awesome. Cool. So now in here, oh, the other thing we want to do is make a helper method. Oops. To return all the points in the object. There we go. All points. Stick is going to have the same thing. All points. There we go. And then P0 and P1. And a spring and a piston and an engine is going to be a little bit different because it has a P2. Super all points array by adding object P3, oops, sorry, P2, right? Self.P2. Yep. And then our wheel has P2 and P3. Self.P2 and self.P3. P0, P1, P2, P3, and it has a center, right? Yep, great. Cool. There we go. And now here, we just created a new object. So points, add objects from array, stick all points, stick add object, sticks add object, stick. And this is where we care about the class, is kind of class balloon. And that will clean up one day, but not today. We should really have balloons and sticks both come from a parent class of sorts. But the other thing, because when a balloon clones, it yeah, balloon CG point, center CG point. Yeah, so here, this guy creates, yeah, it creates its modifier, so that's okay. Yep. Okay, I think we're good. I think we can now drag new objects out of the sidebar. Let's try. Zoom. Zoom. Nope. No. Okay, that did not work. I grabbed a stick. If I want to clone the stick, I make a clone of the stick. I get the points. Oh, well, you know why. You dummy. Our grabbed stick is our stick. Grab stick offset, there we go. Otherwise, our grabbed point is the center of the balloon. Right? I think so. So I was cloning it. It's just that I was cloning it right on top of itself. There we go. And now I can grab stuff and pull it out of the sidebar. Awesome. Snap. But now this means that all of our objects are the exact same length, which might be okay. I don't know. It's really fun to build just absolutely ridiculous things. Okie doke. So that means this create stick gesture we don't need, the piston gesture we don't need, the spring gesture, balloon, wheel, and engine gesture. We don't need any of that code, so we just cleaned up a lot of code. That was awesome. That's super great news. Can we create a balloon? We can. We can create a wheel. Awesome. We can add the balloon to the wheel. Why wouldn't you want to do that? Awesome. Super great news. Okay, so now when we drag an item, I think when we let go of a stick, if it's next to a point, if either of its points are next to a point, what happened there? Alright, it's still attached somehow, because you see it's rotating the wheel, even though the wheel isn't following the object. And I have no idea on that one. Huh. So if we put a wheel down, if we put that guy, come here, that guy, that guy, that guy, Huh. All right, we're gonna have to put that one on the bug list. I have no idea. Bizarre. Okay, so we have the semblance of a sidebar. That's the other thing I want to do is I want to move this clear button. I want to do type custom. So that way they're just all black icons. We have one blue icon and one black icon. Yep. Great. Yeah. Okay. So maybe, is it just whenever you connect something to the center of a wheel? Come on now, give me a log. Bonk. Yeah, so swapping it out to the center of the wheel breaks something. Let's do replace point at point. I think the problem is if P is equal to center, new P, right? Yeah. Yep. It's also going to be true for P2. Oops. If P is equal to P2, or if it's equal to P3, because it was properly replacing it for the sticks inside of the sticks, but we also synthesize the center P2 and P3. So these points basically duplicate points that are already in these spokes and stuff like that. So that, pretty sure that's the issue. It's a good bug. So we go there and we go here. Give me this guy. Connect. Yeah, and then now he does the right thing. There we go. Yay. That's awesome. Cool. Cool. So let's commit that. Sidebar for all the tools, for all the parts. I need to call them the right thing. Awesome. So that's up. So what was the other thing that we wanted to do while we were here? Oh yeah, when you drag something and drop a stick, if either of its points are next to a point, then we should snap those together. That happens at the end of the move gesture, which is move point gesture. Here we go. If we ended, so our grabbed point. So there we go. So we have 4 and then points to snap in is, oops, grab stick, all points. Not the most graceful. I take that back. I'm actually a little bit proud of this for loop because that looks silly. Let's put some parentheses in there just to make it a little bit more readable, slightly more parsable. There we go. There we go. Point to snap now uses grabbed point. There and there. We want that to be called point to snap, not points to snap. There we go. I think that's all we had to do. That would be fantastic if that was true. Hello, Darren guy. I hope I said your name right. Let's bring this guy. Did you snap? You did. Look at that. See, now you can bring this guy. Snap. We can bring this guy out. You can rotate him. Pull these apart. Snap. Look at that. Awesome. Bonk. Collapse. That's amazing. I love it. Dragging sticks will let them snap. There we go. Let's snap him right there. That's great. That's great. Cool. I think we did good work. I think we did good work. Cool. So if you're still around, go to the website below. It should be in the description. It's sparepartsapp.com. There is a survey that I would love for you to fill out. It talks about the graphics. This guy right here. What should it look like? Right? There's a small survey where it goes through a couple different art styles for the app. This is what it used to look like. It used to just be blue sticks and green balls. So there's a lot of different kind of art styles that it might be able to use, and I would love your feedback on what we should make it look like. That would be awesome if you want to give me your opinion and help us out. I'm just using. I didn't even see these in YouTube. Yeah, it's Xcode. Yeah, so check those out. That would be awesome. You can also check us out on the website or follow. I try to stream every day. That's the goal. This is a 2-week project. We're on day 8, maybe. I can't quite count, unfortunately. But I'm pretty sure it's day 8. All of the code has been done 100% on stream so far, so you can go back and look at previous streams if you want to see how all this physics kind of 2D nonsense was created in the first place. And so yeah, all the code has been on stream, and then the goal is to have the app 100% finished by the end of 2 weeks. So we've been 8 days in, so 6 more days to go. At the end of 6 days, whatever we've got, I'm submitting to the App Store. That's the goal. I sent a build up today to get it into the beta review. So if you want to be a beta tester, as new builds get going and get approved, then I'll send builds out to whoever wants them before it gets approved, hopefully, theoretically, by the App Store. I think the problem with having fixed length is that I can't make square boxes. Anyway, so yeah, so give me your thoughts. Love to help you either sign up for the beta, send me your email, your Apple ID if you want to do that in a private message somewhere, and check out and vote on the interface idea. But that's where I'm going to call it for today. I'd say that's a pretty successful day. We have a sidebar, a tool sidebar. I need to do, I could use a spring for the crossbar, I guess. Let's try that. Does that work? Bonk. There's box. Here is, oops, yeah, that was dumb. Let's go here, snap, snap, and then snap, snap. And this is going to stretch the spring a little bit. There we go. Now we have a box. It's a wobbly box. Wobble. That's amazing. I love it. That is foolishly amazing. Okay, seriously, guys, I'm done. It's been fun. It's getting way too late, and I should probably go to bed. But yeah, thanks for coming out, and I will do it again tomorrow. So follow, subscribe, Twitter, whatever, and I will see you then. Thanks, guys. Bye. Bonk.